What's going on, guys? I'm back with another one. And last night I saw a movie called Promising Young Woman, starring Carey Mulligan, Bo Burnham, and Christopher Mintz-Plasse. First of all, before I had a chance to even watch this movie, I hadn't even seen all the trailer yet. But I did spot an article somewhere in social media that asked the question, will the Oscars accept a woman going full rage crazy? Then they had a picture of the Joker we know right next to the main actress of the movie. So they had the audacity to insinuate that she would be just as crazy as the Joker. Man, my only question is, will she be as crazy as the Joker? Will she even reach a centimeter of the lunatic level that my boy the Joker was on? Let's get to that review because we're about to answer that. Promising Young Woman. For those who don't know, for those who are not aware, this movie came out on Christmas Day. But unfortunately, we were distracted by other things. So yeah, this movie actually exists. This movie happened. Promising Young Woman is about a young woman named Cassie who had a friend back off in medical school who suffered a very traumatic event where she was raped and taken advantage of. And the whole incident was ignored or just not believed and swept under the rug. Right? Now, of course, her friend took this to heart, but then Cassie took this in another way. She was hurt to the point where they both, of course, dropped out of school. But Cassie was now on a vigilante mission. What I mean by that, Cassie would sit up in a certain club every other night, pretend she was dirt but drunk, in order to lure that type of sleazy ass dude who likes that, who likes unconscious women. And then when they get to that moment, all of a sudden, she's sober. And of course, the dude freaks out. And Cassie starts to, kind of lecture the guy. Or, teach them a lesson. And she would do this to a lot of dudes every other night. Along the way, she develops a thing for one of her customers at her job. Now, the only thing about that customer, he used to be friends with all the dirtbags and jackasses that were involved in that little event back off in medical school. So as you can imagine, her whole mission is completely different now. All right. And that's the premise of the movie. Positives. This movie takes a very interesting turn. All right. It goes in a direction or a route I didn't see coming. And that's because I thought this movie was going to have a high level of cringe, an extreme high level of cringe. I knew it was going to be funny. It's a thriller / comedy. I was going to laugh at some moment or point in time. But then I could feel the cringe through the trailers, or so what I thought. But what in reality happened, this movie actually had a serious side to it. I didn't think would come. All right, it did more than just point a finger at everybody else and try to make the main actress look flawless. It pointed out her flaws as well. It made you understand why she is the way she is. And that's what the whole situation to the side that happened. You know what I'm saying? It makes you see that, no one's perfect. No one's perfect. Almost to the point where you start to question, is what she doing the right way to handle this? It does make you ask that question in the movie. I appreciated that. Another thing I liked about this movie, the dark sense of humor. I don't have to even say it. I don't have to say it. You know what's up with me and dark humor. And this movie had it. This movie had it to the point where a lot of you will be highly offended by some of the jokes in this movie, especially by the main actress. She's not like a lot of women. All right, she's a very blunt person, very crass, rude person, to be exact. So that was entertaining, and not only is she like this, you'll find that a lot of characters in the movie just are not normal people. There is no normal person in this movie. Believe that right now. Another thing that I admired about this movie, I expected going into this movie that it would strongly push an agenda. Now, yes, this movie is kind of based on somewhat of an agenda, but it doesn't drown you in that agenda. It doesn't try to make itself seem, all righteous. I don't know if I'm saying this right, all righteous, or, preach to you. It doesn't try to preach to you. All right. It does have a core to the movie that has way more to do with a lot of other subjects and topics besides what, the main agenda is, if that makes any sense. All right. So there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to it than what you think. Okay. Loved that. I love the twists that this movie has in it. There are several twists. Two twists that I liked in particular. There's one twist I have an issue with. We'll get to that in a minute. And that's where we're going right now. Let's get into those negatives. One negative that I'll mention, and this is something that I just spoke of earlier. Is she as crazy as the Joker? No, she's not. She doesn't even touch a millisecond of how crazy the Joker got in his movie. There was a point where she was about to reach that potential, but something stopped it. A roadblock got in the way. And that's all I can say about that. Roadblock got in the way. If I say any more, I will ruin a twist. But, no, I have no idea why that article compared her to the Joker. They were so off. They were extremely off with that comparison. Please, never do that again. Never do that again. One last main negative for me. The end. And this is where that other twist comes in. Of course, I won't mention it, but I will say this about the twist that I was disappointed with. This is the same twist that was used in another phenomenal classic movie. If I mention that movie, then that will give it away for people who have seen that movie. But it ends almost on the same note. Like they took a scripture or a line or some kind of part from that movie and just copied it and threw their characters in place of the characters that were in that said movie. The originality points were taken down low on this one, man. I that was disappointing, highly disappointing. I felt like once the second twist happened that I liked, something was going to happen, but it never did. But that could have happened. That was their first fumble. Then after that didn't happen, well, I was like, oh, well, so maybe this will happen. That didn't happen either. They had two complete open opportunities to save that ending and maybe come up with somewhat more of an original conclusion. But they did not do that. They went the copycat route with this. Very, very, very disappointing. What is the issue here? All right, what is the issue with that? And for that, I'm giving this an I cool. Yes, an I cool, because they were so close to victory with this movie. This movie, let me tell you something, man. This movie has a very interesting concept, very different concept. I don't think any other movie has done this ever. Maybe they've gotten close. Some movies have gotten close with this, but not quite the same execution. Not quite the same style as which this movie does. It is a very good movie. Don't get me wrong. I advise people to go see this movie. You might have, because there's going to be a lot of different opinions about this movie and where and what it stands for and what it means actually. You know, what the things that take place in this movie. All right, this is a very serious topic that was turned into somewhat of a comedy. So some people will take offense to that, but I don't think the movie's point was to make fun of that. I didn't see that at all. Some people will think that, but it's not that. It's not making fun of rape or anything of that nature. It's actually, you know, she's supposed to be sort of an avenger, not that avenger, of that type of, you know, situation. All right. So I appreciate it for going in that route, but it just didn't end the right way. All right. Simple as that. I need y'all to press that like, share, subscribe, and by the way, if anybody has any suggestions on type of videos I should do, something like that, even if it's not a review video, something else, I might take that into consideration. Depends on what you know, the suggestion you give me. But, you know, any suggestions are welcome. They're welcome here. All right. I'm out.